Hi, my name is Matthew Alvey, and I will be covering Eating Christmas in the Kalahari by Richard Brochet Lee. To summarize this article, it's about a man from a Western civilization and a Western culture visiting an African subculture and or a tribe, if you want to call it. The interpretation of cultural meanings is, well, from the article's perspective, he interprets one major thing incorrectly. He interprets this tribe satire for sincerity, and it creates this huge fear in him. It instills a major sense of dread in him. And this is because he gets this beautiful piece of cattle in his eyes and brings it to the tribe, but the tribe says, "You know nothing about our agriculture. This cow sucks," essentially. And he was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And they're like, "Yeah, what have you done? You really screwed us over here." And it is really funny because he's freaking out and they're like, "Yeah, you're horrible. You really, we're gonna not even be able to celebrate. We'll be starving because of you." And it just really, it makes him panic and freak out. And of course, the writer has ethnocentric biases from his white Western background. And so his initial response to finding out that, oh, these people were just messing with me is, oh, they are essentially bullying me because I'm white. And he finds out later that no, that's not the case. In fact, it's the opposite. They only will have playful psychological warfare, if you want to call it, towards people who they trust. It's like an endearing thing to them. And he would have, if he had known that, had a much more pleasant time during the lead up to this tribe's Christmas. The story challenging the notion that one's cultural values are normal. I think it's pretty obvious in Western culture this would never happen because I think this man was specifically from Europe and we'll say Britain or England or somewhere along the English speaking channels of Europe. When it was developing initially, from that time to now, the way people communicated with each other was essentially the same in that there was a time and a place for humor and jokes and a time and a place for professional organization. And that's just not the case here, which that's not why this culture is underdeveloped. It's just a different way of life. At least that's what I think personally. I think that you can have a balance at least. So for him, he had these blinders on where it's like, oh my gosh, they sabotaged me, and it's like, no, that's not how they operate essentially. What would sadness or mourning be like in this culture is my main question, because you see it a lot. I see it a lot with something like Ocean Gate, the tragedy, which I won't even go into, that happened last week as of the time I'm recording this. There are jokes being made about all of these tragedies right after they happen. Some of them are genuinely, I think, humorous. If it's coming from a malicious standpoint, it's obviously not humorous and very desperate and disgusting. And you can usually tell. Sometimes there's gray area in between, and it's like sort of a crooked smile or a confused laughter. You'll feel, I think, confused laughter no matter what it is when it happens so recently after a tragedy. But I bring all of this up to say how would these people who sort of, I guess, troll on a regular basis cope with the loss of a loved one. And it really makes me wonder if they have a more barbaric, in our eyes, sense of grieving or mourning. And maybe it would make you fear death more to know that your dying won't you probably won't be as respected when you die as you would wish. And yeah, so I kind of just did that. I just talked about trolling in our culture and my question at the same time. But I guess to sort of reiterate on that point, the difference between our culture and their culture, I think, namely, is just the time and place. And I will actually conclude by saying I think every society is the same in that we all want the same things, right? We all have the same desires. We all want to eat, we all want to drink, we all want to have sex, we all want to have fun, we all want to rest, we want recreation, and we want work. Arguably, some people will say nobody really wants to work, but we just need to, or something along those lines. I'm not going to get into that, but we all agree that we want these things. It's just a difference and a matter of how we get to doing those things. Some cultures, a very touchy subject is, of course, sex. Some cultures say you should wait until you're like 21 or something. And other cultures say you should do it way younger. I agree with the US. I'm gonna say that I agree with our laws on that subject. But that's how I'm it's a weird conclusion, I think. But my point is basically we all have the same desires. We all want to laugh in this instance. We all want to laugh. And I think it's very jarring to see how different people will laugh at different subjects. And that's basically it. That's my talk on this article. It's a fun read. Thanks.